Good afternoon, everyone. Today is October 18th, Monday, 2010, and this is the General Assembly meeting of the Student Senate of Johnson County Community College. I will now call this meeting to order at 12 o'clock noon. First and foremost, can we get an adoption of last week's minutes?
Motion to adopt.
Okay, any seconds? Thank you. And then an adoption of today's agenda, but prior to that, I would like to talk about moving the introduction of Honor Student Association, item number 3, up to item number 2. And Achieving the Dream will be number 3. So, but yeah, got that. And then, so we now need a motion to adopt this week's minutes.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Thank you. And then, if you haven't noticed, President Corey Paris is out right now. He's in California with Katy Perry and her California girls. That's me trying to be like Corey, because Corey always makes funny remarks, so that was me doing my best Corey impression. With that being said, let's start going around the room as kind of an introduction of senators, advisors, and guests. And we will start back here and work our way around.
I'm Mindy Maines. I work in both Center for Sustainability and Corporate Outreach, and I'm here today to discuss Achieving the Dream. Pam Vassar, Student Life.
Axel Martinez, Senator.
Georgia Galliano, Senator.
Wendy Alfie, Senator.
Alicia Nichols, Senator.
Amir Chalian, Treasurer.
John Kohler, Vice President, President today.
Amir Bassett, Parliamentarian.
Jeremy Walsh, Secretary.
Teresa Armando, Senator.
Hector Ochoa, Senator. Joseph Gideon,
Samuel Chavez, Senator.
Chris Robbins, Senator.
Horace Senator.
Eric Membaji, Senator.
Mindy Kenneman, Senate Advisor. Caitlin Marceau, Honor Student Association President. Carrie Byerly, Hospitality Management Club.
What's the day Hospitality Management Club?
Zara Chaudhry, running for Senator.
Okay, well, welcome you all, and we're glad to have you today. Okay, so the first item up for new business today is our new senators. We had, I think, about 3 initiated last week, and now we have, I believe, 2 that are in the waiting, and they might not be here.
Yeah.
Are they here? Oh, Zara's here. Okay. So, Zara, if you would like to tell us a little about yourself and kind of why you want to be a part of Student Senate.
Absolutely. My name is Zara Chaudhry, and I would be honored to join the Student Senate. I would love to be a part of a group of educated, very passionate individuals. I just like how you guys get things done, and I believe I can bring a lot of diversity to the Student Senate, both in terms of gender-wise and ethnicity-wise. I'm very confident, intelligent, eloquent, dedicated. I know when to be a chief and when to be an Indian, so I would love to be a part of the Student Senate. Thank you.
Thank you. With that being said, if you could please step out for a moment, we'll call you back in. All right. So, does anyone have any comments to say about Zara?
I know her really well. She's a very hardworking and just dedicated, enthusiastic person. She'll be a really big asset to the Senate.
She's one of the officers who Phi Theta Kappa Green, and I know she's really passionate and dedicated to her work.
Cool. With that being said, we have a quorum today of at least 10 to get her in. So, all those, I guess, yay. All right. So, got that taken care of. So, Eric, would you like to let her in?
Thank you.
I don't know if last week if you guys already talked about this, all the new senators, you guys really need to start kind of figuring out which committee you're gonna go into. So, find any of us exec board after the meeting and we can kind of get you up to speed on these things. And then we're moved down to our second item on the list, and that would be the introduction of the Honor Student Association with Kate. And can you give us a little?
I'm Caitlin Marceau, and go by Kate. I'm the president of the Honors Student Association, which I'm going to pass around our new constitution if you guys want to look at that. We're basically a organization that's part of the Honors Club, and what we want, the reason why we want to be an actual club at Johnson County Community College is because next year, this coming weekend actually, we have a conference. It's an honors conference, and we're not actually a part of it, but next year we'd like to be. And so our goal is to get more people involved in the club and in the honors program together. And we do we have social organizations. We try to get them basically just, instead of just doing our honors contracts and studying all the time and trying to do more for our schooling, we want to get people together socially and rather than just studying all the time. And then on top of being a part of the honors conference next year, which is in Arizona, we want to be a part of that. And basically it's an opportunity for honor students to present something that they're studying on their own and present it to fellow honor students together. And that's all.
Any questions? If you could please step out for a moment, we'll call you back. So Kate and the Honor Student Association have kind of been getting in contact with me, and I think they truly have kind of a good mesh of people, and continuing forward would definitely be a benefit to the college. I don't know if anyone else has any comments.
I have a comment. I'm affiliated with the organization and part of the founding members of it. Basically, it's an extension of the honors program. Kind of gives students the opportunity to interact with each other. So basically, you're extending the honors program into a more inclusive where students from the program can interact, exchange ideas. Yeah, so it's a good program.
I'm also a member of it myself, and I'll tell you the problem with it is visibility. And I think that's one of the main reasons why I want to make a club, so that people know they exist.
I've got a question, maybe directed more towards you two, since you're in the program. Would you guys plan on meeting in the honors office regularly, or would you have like a place outside of the honors office, like your own designated meeting area weekly or bi-weekly or something like that?
I mean, basically, once we have the approval, it kind of depend. Sometimes we will have outside the school. There have been times where we had events outside school where we had go out, eat, go to a movie or something like that, where students can interact with each other on a more less formal environment. So kind of motivate that trusting relationship between students.
All right.
So the primary focus of this club is mainly social, correct?
It's not really social, it's just team building spirit. If you trust each other, you'll be able to work with one another. The Senate, we usually have events outside school just to get people to know each other, interact, share ideas. So it's almost similar
Social
thing.
camaraderie.
Yeah. So it's just a basic component of team building.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you all. So now we We have the same amount of people in here now.
No, we have up to one. Yeah, we changed it to quorum of 11.
Okay. So we have a quorum of 11. All those in favor of the Honor Student Association? All those opposing? All those all those abstentions? So, Eric, would you like to do duty? Congratulations, Kate. The Honor Student Association is now a club here on campus. Congratulations. If you have any other questions, you can come by me or you have ways to contact me. Cool. Yeah, so thank you. So our next item on the agenda is for Achieving the Dream.
I'm sorry?
Did you know with it?
No. Okay, this is Mindy Maines, Pam Vassar. We are both on a committee, I guess we would call it, or a core team of people here on campus that are working on an initiative called Achieving the Dream. How many of you have heard anything mentioned about Achieving the Dream? Okay, a few of you. So the rest of you we're going to try and inform a little bit. Achieving the Dream is an initiative that the college is involved with that really systematically looks at ways to improve developmental education in reading, writing, and math courses, okay? And to give you some perspective of why that's a really important thing, I'm going to give you some statistics. So all of you who don't like statistics, you can just hang in there for a little bit. But at JCCC, 83% of students test into at least one developmental course here at the college. Okay, 83% of students test into one developmental course. In the fall of 2006, out of the 1,891 first time in college degree and certificate seeking students, 1,300 of them placed into developmental math. Of those, 483 of those students placed into the very lowest level of the developmental math courses. And of those, only 39 students, which is really 8%, had actually completed the developmental sequence to get them to college level, not college level, to get them to the course that counts, or the course that transfers. Only 39 of those had completed that whole developmental sequence within a 3-year period of time. Okay, so that's 8%. For reading, getting through the developmental sequence, that's 16%, and for writing, the number is 20%. So, as you can see, putting some emphasis on this initiative is a pretty important thing, right? The college starts out with this program that we're a part of. The college has started out by, first off, sort of looking at the data, just much of this kinds of stuff that I just told you, looking at the facts and the figures of it all, and then coming up with some strategies to improve that. And so we've spent a year looking at the data, and we'll continue to look at the data, but going beyond, we have some strategies developed that the college is sort of engaged in and working on, and some of you may be in some of those courses with special strategies already. But the first one is the First Year Connections program, and that is students have been given the opportunity, those students that are in developmental reading and writing have been given the opportunity to become what we're referring to as Dream Scholars. And those students will meet with a counselor on some regular basis, and a counselor that's assigned to them on a regular basis. The counselor will give them help, monitor the progress that they're making on their courses. The counselor will also make them aware and resources available to them on college that would, here at the college, that would help them as they're moving through their developmental courses. Track progress, remove barriers that they might have to their success, so that these students have an opportunity to do well with some mentoring and some guidance. And at the point in time where they've completed that first year connections course, they'll have an opportunity for a scholarship that they could apply to the following semester. So that's one of the programs. Success in math, there are several initiatives happening in the math courses. There is a software-aided instruction for students. So you would come in for the first week and a half and sort of work through just some, almost like a review and mastering skills that you've learned all the way along but maybe have forgotten. I know I've forgotten a few of my math skills. After the first week and a half, and after you've kind of had that review, you then have the opportunity to actually have that, how you've mastered yourself through that software, actually tell you what course you're now eligible to go into. So hopefully you've raised your ability to go into the next level of either developmental or into the next level of math course. There's also a supplemental instruction course that's being taught. Is anybody in that one? It has some supplemental instruction that's done by some students that are really good math students. They're called supplemental instruction mentors, and you meet with your regular class, and then outside of that class, you have a mentor that sort of works you through, you know, some assistance in that math course. And that, again, helping you to move through that developmental sequence. And then the last thing that math is working on is a big educational summit that they would be doing in the summer of 2011, which would really bring math educators together all across Johnson County, from high schools, potentially elementary schools, I think, too, to really look at math instruction and, you know, how to do a better job to improve and enhance math instruction and math understanding among students. And then they're in the area of reading and developmental writing, they're working on a course that is a blended course, a learning community where developmental writing and developmental reading are taught at the same time by two different instructors. And so maybe you're writing on the works that you're reading, so hopefully to blend those two courses together. So the college has put a lot of thought and a lot of work into developing some strategies for the Achieving a Dream initiative. So I just want you to be aware of it as you go forward, and that's really our charge, is to sort of work with different groups on campus and make them aware of some of the strategies that we're working toward. And then Mindy has kind of the practical, I think, that might be a little more interesting than the facts and the figures, I agree.
I'm going to kind of put a face to all those statistics. We're going to watch a little bit of a video, which this is a video that we've started showing at the beginning of each semester to all the instructors. We get one big, huge meeting before you guys get to campus. We've been interviewing students and some faculty to kind of get to hear a little bit in their own words. And since it's an 8-minute video and we have limited time, I'm just going to show you just a little part of it. And then I'm going to tell you a little bit of background about one of the students that we're going to watch. Hello. This is Nick. His name's Nick. Volume.
Is it muted on the right side?
Just a little.
Computer volume.
On the right bottom, there's a little
Right down here?
speaker. Is it muted there?
Is that speaker you're right next to?
Right below.
It might be low.
Down on the bar. Who's right here? Right here? Yeah. Right here.
Is it muted there?
No.
Oh.
Well, if we can't get it, I'm just going to tell you about this guy. All right, we're going to move over just a little bit so you can actually see. This is Nick. And what he would be saying, and I'm going to tell you where you can go because I want you all to see, there's two videos up there that you can see. If you go to our main website and type in Achieving the Dream, you will go to this site and it says Success Stories. I think that's what it says, Success Stories or Success Gallery. Click on that and you'll get these two different clips that you can watch. Now Nick, he's about 52 right now, and when he was growing up, his dad told him, "You are too stupid to ever even make it through high school." His principal told him that, his high school counselor told him that. He had nothing but really negative reinforcement. And it's okay for me to tell you all this because he signed a release that it was fine for me to share it with everybody. His father was an alcoholic. They moved a lot. There was just a lot of disruption in his life. And at one point, they moved down to Phoenix, and he had originally been in a real snowy area, so he had no more snow, and he was having a real hard time making friends. And he started hanging out with several guys that were really troublemakers, really doing a lot of stuff they shouldn't have been doing. And one day they were out throwing oranges at cars. He said, because they don't have snowballs there, so they had to throw oranges. He didn't want to actually hit the car because he's really a nice guy. So he was kind of aiming so he wouldn't hit the car. But when the police came by, they arrested him because he had oranges all over his hands because he'd been eating them. So he gets taken down, he gets booked, and this police officer's driving him on the way home. And he said, "Nick, you are going down a path you do not want to be going down." He said, "If you stay with these friends, you're going to end up in a place that you really don't want to be." He said, "This cop just scared me to death. And I quit hanging out with those friends. It was really hard for me to have no friends and try to learn how to make different kinds of friends." He said, "But I did it." And he went finally, I can't remember if he graduated or if he got his GED. Barely graduated if he did. He said his grades were always just terrible. He started in college, he was making all failing grades. And one day he says to a friend of his who's a psychology professor over at KU, he said, "If I could do anything, I just really want to go back and get a degree, but if I start now, I'll be 52 before I get a degree." And the professor's friend said, "So, let me get this straight, you'll be 52 with a degree or 52 without a degree." Nick's like, "Yeah, that makes a lot of sense." So he started school. And would you believe Nick, who barely made it through high school, was making horrible grades, had so many things stacked against him. He now has a master's degree from Baker. He has his MBA from Baker, and he's getting a second master's degree from Rockhurst so that he can go back and teach math, especially business math in high schools. The thing that Achieving the Dream that we want to reach every single person about is that in every single one of your classes, people are sitting there who are Nick, who are all these other students that you can watch on these films, and sometimes you just don't know what they're going through and what's getting in the way of their dream. And anytime you think that might be happening, please send them down to the counseling office, because we've got all kinds of career counseling and all kinds of things we can help so that students can actually achieve their dream, because you never know. Somebody might start here, but they can end up wherever they want to be especially when they get a little bit of encouragement like this, I think did from the police officer and from his friend.
Kind of what we want to do with all of this going out, and Mindy and I are just two people on a core team of probably 20. And everybody's kind of going out to individual groups here on campus and talking about it. We just want everyone to have a basic understanding. It's not like you need to sort of regurgitate the facts and the figures here, but certainly to have a real a base understanding that Achieving the Dream is really about people like Nick, and it's really about developmental ed and doing what we can do to enhance developmental ed here at Johns County Community College. Questions that you have for us? Come on, somebody. Yes?
I do have a comment. I was actually looking on the homepage of Johnson County Community College, and Nick's story is up there. So.
A lot of these stories are out there.
The posters are you'll see posters of them all over the campus.
And if you just do you can just search the college website for Achieving the Dream and bring up additional information and facts and figures and that sort of thing. We just recently had our one of the things that the college gets as being a part of this Achieving the Dream initiative is a couple of people that come in and are coaches for us, and they hear our ideas, they hear that we're going out and talking to various groups, and just sort of lead us as we work through down the path here of some of the initiatives that we're working on. So,
or if you hear a student, you think, wow, they have a really compelling story that would be very inspirational for others, us know because we're constantly taping and getting your stories.
Yes.
Do you have an office or a room?
Achieving the Dream does not have an office. We have a person on campus that really is kind of heading up the initiative for us, and that's Jason Kovac. I'm located in COM 100. If you have further questions or just need somebody to sort of direct you to someone else, I'd be happy to do that. And Mindy?
I'm up right upstairs in CC 305.
Questions, other questions? Thoughts about all of this? Okay, thanks for letting us have your time. Appreciate it. I apologize that we don't have one.
Okay, so we got through all of that. Next on the agenda, we have the budget request, so get that over to me.
Last Tuesday, the Budget Committee met with Hospitality Management and the Organization of Black Collegians, so we have two requests to fulfill today. First, we'll have Hospitality Management present, so if you guys would give a quick presentation about the trip, where you're going to go and what you're going to do.
Sure. Okay. Just for a quick overview, let me tell you a little bit about the Hospitality Management Club. We kind of like to consider our club more of a professional organization because we're helping groom and train and help students do some networking and event opportunities within the industry itself of hotel management, restaurant management, also event planning, things along that nature. We currently have 55 students on our roster. You don't have to be in the hospitality management program. You just need to be a student at Johnson County Community College. Now, the show that we are talking about, the trip to New York City, is the International Hotel, Lodging, and Restaurant Show that will take place November 13th through the 15th in New York City. And not all 55 people are going. We have 20 students going. However, I just want to give you a little information about that. The 20 students that going have earned the privilege to go. It is not just an open call for all 55 to hop on a plane. You have to earn a minimum of 20 points to go. That means you have to be involved, very actively involved in the club. For example, this semester we have joined with the Greater Kansas City Hotel Association at their annual golf tournament, which is a charity tournament. We also have an event coming up October 28th, which is Some Enchanted Evening. We are also have done cookie sales, which you'll see us every Wednesday in the OCB building selling cookies. And just to let you know, those profits go toward, you would know that because you're more of our cookie master.
Cookie sales profits actually go towards when we go to New York. They'll go to tips for our drivers, for our van drivers. They'll go to the hotel bellmen for putting up with us. They'll go to everything like that. They do not go to us whatsoever. And as some of you know, I don't push sales very often. Half the time I'll bring cookies and donate cookies everywhere. So it's more of a opportunity for us to get into the kitchen, gives us another excuse to get in the kitchen, to bake the cookies, also an opportunity to get out there and get involved with everybody else.
And a little bit about the International Hotel, Lodging, and Restaurant Show. There's approximately 20,000 attendees. Some of those are students from all over the U.S. For example, there's students that'll be from KU, MU there, Cornell. We have people from UC Davis that'll be there. So it's all over the U.S. However, also attending those shows are industry professionals. And we're not just talking, we're talking very high up industry professionals. The national recruiter from Marriott will be there. We see him every year. So we want to get ourselves positioned in front. Oh, that's right. Yeah, we want to get our students positioned in front of these recruiters and networking with these individuals so that our students will have wonderful opportunities for, future employment. But also there's numerous educational sessions as well. Most of them are going on concurrently, so we're going to split our group of 20 up so everyone is attending a session, but then at the end of the day, we can kind of share what we learned and also bring it back to the classroom as well.
Okay, thank you very much for giving that information. Do any of the senators have any questions for hospitality management? Nobody is. Okay, so we'll proceed on to voting. If you guys could please step out. So. Sure. Okay, so hospitality management wants to go on a trip to New York City. And so since this is a trip, they are going to only be able to take a maximum of 20 students and no more than that. Their actual cost is going to be $655 per person, which is a total of $13,100. But their total request to the Student Senate is $480 per person, and that's a total of $9,600. For hospitality management, the Budget Committee recommends to the Senate that we fund 68% of their total request, which would be $326.40 per student, which is $6,528 total. And this is up to a maximum of 20 students going. So, if anybody has any questions, comments, or concerns.
I just had a comment. That seems pretty reasonable as far as just my opinion.
What does it cover, the 300?
This covers their trip to New York City. They need airfare, they need to be in a hotel, and the registration fees. But they have fundraised a lot of money themselves to go on this trip, and they put a lot of effort to it. And they do have a point system that they go on because they have so many members. They're only going to be able to take 20, and the 20 people really worked hard to be in this position to go to New York City.
The only weak spot that in their presentation was that they didn't ask the student life, is that their fault, for money. So that's the reason why we didn't come in a higher level. But other than that, they had a really good presentation. So if anybody wants to see, I actually have it here, the presentations.
Yeah, and just to add, I mean, they're very involved with Johnson County, so as a whole, the organization is very involved with student activities, so they're very much part of JCC, and the students themselves contribute from their own personal income, and then they have fundraisers that are very significant amounts. So basically, they're doing their part towards this event, so that's a reasonable amount to.
Yeah, I want to add to that, they are getting involved with our Halloween event. They're having a cupcake decorating booth, which is going to be fun for the kids, so and they're really excited about that.
We'll go on to voting. So all those in favor of that amount, please raise your hand. Anyone opposing? And any abstentions? All right, so it passes. Zara, can you please call the roll?
We're just hiding. We don't want to look like kids and go like, hi.
You have been approved for 68% of your total request, which is $326.40 per student and $6,520 total. If you'd like, you can stay here, or if you'd like to go. And if you have any more questions, just email us.
Thank you. We'll just stay and we'll figure it all out today. Yeah, okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. And cookies Wednesday. Yes. Yes. Caramel apple cookies.
Okay, our next request comes from the Organization of Black Collegians. So if you guys could stand up and please give a brief presentation about your trip and what you're going to do with the money.
Well, you guys always hear me talk, so I'm going to let someone else talk this time. I'll let Mariah, our secretary, kind of give an overview of what Big 12 was for us last year, and I guess I'll sum everything up at the end. But
I'm Mariah Gibbons. I'm in my second year here. I'm the secretary of OBC. I was less involved in the executive board last year. However, I had an opportunity to go to the Big 12 conference. It was in Austin, Texas, at the University of Texas in Austin, and the theme was Power Beyond Measure. I went with 10 other, or actually about 8 other students, including our advisor. They had lots of sessions for us to go to, workshops, and a keynote speaker every day. A part of the requirement for me to go was to have at least a 2.0, which was pretty easy, and I also had to pay the $100 like down payment, and then from there, it was just excitement from there on out. I learned a lot. We kind of counseled each other, learned a lot about our group, not just how to become a group, but we learned a lot about one another while we were there. The way that the theme kind of tied in with our group is that they want to make stronger group members, how to make more career advancing opportunities as far as those who don't know what they want to do, or how to take advantage of what's already out there, and networking with other people, schools, organizations, which is really beneficial to us. We, from the Big 12 Conference, have teamed up with the TASI organization of Kansas City Community College, who is also a great group. We share a lot of the same community events now, and have tried to keep in touch with them over the summer and things. But as far as OBC goes, in order for us to advance and in our group, we had to take a lot of the things that we learned at Big 12, such as, you know, like communication and organization, really learning how to invest our time and commitment and things like that to the group. And so Big 12 was definitely something that was really beneficial to OBC, and we're hoping to take another 10 members this time. Anything you guys want to add?
Any questions?
Yeah, I'll kind of sum it up too, yeah. I've been to the one last year and previous year. I'm probably gonna opt out this year because, you know, it's pretty much the same for me because, you know, you get a lot of it each year. You kind of want new people to go. But it's sort of a, you know, she pretty much nailed it, and it's also, it's a great opportunity for us to bring back what we learned to the school, because there's other, for example, there's other student senate groups there. There are people that are part of their student senates from universities, such as Ohio State. Their senate was there pretty much, I think about 3 of their exec board members were there from the University of Ohio State. This was their overall student senate, and then they gave us a great presentation and actually gave us some materials to, such as they gave us materials to read and books and things like that to read on just teamwork and all. But overall, I'm not going to talk you guys' ear off, but Big 12 it's a great opportunity for our group, and we like to, this year we really like to bring what we learned back, because last year we were each assigned to write a paper, each member that went was assigned to write a paper about what we learned from our experiences, and we have that paper in our file. But this year we're hoping to do that and more, so we want to bring back what we learned to the school. And you guys have any questions now?
I'd like to add one thing.
Yeah.
The students that are going will again have to write a paper, have a 2.0, and be active members of the group, in which we are tentatively planning things right now in the fall semester. However, the trip is in the spring semester at the University of Missouri. And so as far as like, we're kind of giving the idea to our new members, kind of making it a small goal, but right now we've made it a little bit more condensed as far as this semester's, you know, main thing on the table. This semester we're more so raising some money and doing a lot of community service on the side. So by us getting the amount that we requested, it'll kind of bring a little relief to us, but keep us still working hard and making sure that people are staying active with the community events and social events here at the school.
Thank you very much for your presentation. Do any of the senators have any questions for OBC? Anything at all? Okay, so if you could please step outside, and we'll call you in. Okay, so OBC wants to go on a trip to Columbia, Missouri for a Big 12 Leadership Conference. Since this is a trip, they are requesting to take up to a maximum of 12 students. Their actual cost is going to be $450 per person, which is a total of $5,400. Their total request per student is $330, which is a total of $3,960. For OVC, the Budget Committee recommends to the Senate that we do fund 65% of their total request, which is a total of $2,574, or $214.50 per person, up to a maximum of 12 students going. Does anybody have any questions, comments, or concerns?
I actually, and Amir, I want to apologize in advance because it's going to look like I'm calling you out, but the reality of it is, Teresa, myself, and Maxwell are on the budget committee. 65% is way out of line with what we actually come up with. I could tell you the specific numbers, but when you add up ticking, I don't know what Amir put in as a percentage, but even if Amir put 100%, that would only raise it to 59%. Amir made a pretty good argument and articulated why he raised it to 65%. I just want everybody to know that's not what we recommended.
Right, and what Joseph had, we had some complications before we got the figures in, but we talked it out with OVC and we got the numbers cleared up. Basically, I gave them 65% because we weren't clear on how they were going to benefit the community, and we had some questions about the prices of how much a student is going to pay. And they are paying $120 each, and that is a lot for a college student to pay. And that brings it down to $3,960. And after that, they are benefiting Johnson County Community College. They work with other clubs with leadership. That's what they learn. They learn a lot of leadership. They have also turned in several essays about what they wrote, and they recall events, specific workshops that they did. And they share that with other groups on campus, and that indirectly benefits the community as a whole. So I really felt, this event is in February, so they do have time to do fundraising. They still need to raise about $1,000-something to come up with the 65%. If we give them 65%, they still have money to come up with. And they're going to work with basketball tournaments and other fundraisers to do this. So I really do feel that 65% is a reasonable amount to give OVC.
Why do we have a committee if we're just going to come up with numbers anyway?
But I have the specific numbers, and we do have enough funding to give this to them. And I feel that if we give them less than 50%, we are shortchanging them of what they really deserve, because they do contribute a lot to Johnson County Community College. And the terms that you gave me were before we had the things clarified.
Just to add, there must have been some miscommunication. But I'll voice my support for the 65% because it's reasonable, considering that the activity they're going to be involved in and the amount of time they put into it and their own personal contribution. So it's fairly, it's a fair amount to award them towards the event. So I'll always support that.
I also support that. I think everyone in the committee agreed that when they presented their presentation to the committee, it was a little sloppy and disorganized, and I guess that played a huge part in how we have decided individually. But I agree with Amir, just with a little research on my part, and just a clarification from the president with having Amir just met with him with all the clarification. I think they do deserve that 65%.
Okay, thank you. Does anybody have any other questions or comments? Okay, so now we'll move on to voting. All those in favor of giving OVC 65% of their total request, please raise your hand. Any noes? And any abstentions? Okay, if you could please call them. The Senate has approved 65% of your total request, which is $214.50 per student. So if you have any further questions, please contact us. You can feel free to sit and stay with us for a move to council.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so next on the agenda, we gotta get moving through these. We have Rebecca with the Halloween Service Project.
All right, so everything's going pretty well. Maybe I'm not sure if we've figured out a location or not. No, we've not heard of it. All right. about 7 clubs who are in on it, and they all have an activity to provide for the kids. And I will be passing these around. One of them is a sign-up sheet, is if you have Halloween decorations at home for us to borrow to use. And then I would ask you to, put your name, cell phone number, and then when you bring your decorations, make sure that you bring it around like 3 o'clock, 3:30 on that day, October 29th, which is a Friday, and make sure that your name is labeled somewhere on there, like on a piece of tape, sticker, whatever, so then we can return it to you successfully. And then the other sign-up sheet is for shifts for it. One is 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock for setting up and decorating, and then the others is pretty much explanatory. So if you just, and then on the back there is if you're staying the whole time, just put your name there as well as signing up for a shift. So then we know who's all going to be there in case people don't show up. That'd be great. Thanks.
Thank you. Next on the agenda, we have exec board announcements, and we'll start over here with you.
This week, we're gonna meet with Model UN on Tuesday at 1. That's all we have going on.
Okay, I have a few things, I have a lot to say real quick. First and foremost, since we're all student senators, we do get the privilege of pre-enrollment, and this is on October 25th. So be sure that you're preparing, your classes, whatnot, getting in touch with counselors, and 25th through 27th. So not to scare you too much, but get at that, because you do need some in classes or state senator in the following semester. So. And then last Wednesday, I wasn't able to go to the brown bag luncheon because Corey kind of delegated me to go to this awesome little luncheon that they had at the Marriott, and they brought in a speaker, Donald McPherson, who was an All-American quarterback at Syracuse back in the late '80s, and he spoke on the topic of men's violence against women. And our very own JCCC, Student Life and Leadership Development Department, co-sponsored it along with MOXA, which is a metropolitan organization to counter sexual assault. And pretty much, this is kind of, I think, a big deal. We should kind of try and get out and let people know that this service is out there. But pretty much what it is the community's only comprehensive sexual violence agency providing advocacy and support for the victims of rape and sexual assault, and prevention and education that go along with that. And if you know someone that would need MOXA, representatives are available 24 hours at the contact number of 913-642-0233. And it was really a good event, and I hope there are so many people there with like important figures of the community. So I think it's a good deal, and any way that can stop things like that is a good thing. So going back to Inter Club, my council, my committee, Mike, we kind of were talking about getting events planned out as far as like a calendar situated. I don't know if you guys saw, but if I'm Facebook friends with any of you, I sent out last night kind of a event calendar thing you guys can take a look at, and I'll keep that updated as the year goes on. So give that a look and be my friend if we're not friends already. And then next Monday or next week at some time, we have a student senate group picture, since we finally almost have a full senate. So be ready for that and dress however you like. But we'll send out an email on the specifics, but I believe it'll be following the General Assembly. So after or before. We'll get with you. So you guys will know. And that's all I have.
Just a quick reminder, the rules and conduct is going to be 1 to 2 today.
Okay. As far as with the PR, we still haven't got a full schedule set yet as far as what days we're going to be meeting for the PR committee. I still haven't got a full head count as far as who all is wanting to be interested in that. I do have, however, a sign-up sheet in the back that I'd like everybody to be able to sign before the end of the meeting, before everybody leaves. That basically is going to record your name and which committees you're serving on and a good contact email address, so everything's up to date, everything's most current information. As far as with the PR campaign, there are a couple things going underway already. Do have some good contacts established with the Campus Ledger as well as with the ECAV radio station to help to be able to promote some of the events that we have going on, as well as for the other clubs too. We also put together a sheet to help gather some of the information that we actually really need from some of the clubs. It's about basically their name, what they're doing, where they meet, and their times, president, vice president, description, and webpage or Facebook account, whatever thing they have for that. And we'll help put together a little bit more of a kit. Also trying to work together and putting together a events calendar that will have the events of all the different clubs on campus, as well as with the Student Senate, and be able to get that pushed out through the newspaper and the radio station as well. So that's all I'm going for that.
So I guess that's all the Gazette board announcements. Now we can move back to our advisory piece.
Yeah, tomorrow from noon to 1 in COM 319, which is at Study Lounge, there's a program where Dr. Calloway is going to come, and you guys can just sit there, interact with them. I strongly encourage everybody to come if you're free. So tomorrow, 12 to 1, COM 319.
Thank you. So with that being said, I will now open up the floor for open forum. Anyone have any questions or comments about anything going on campus?
I was just going to say, Kansas City Anti-Violence Project is also a center for sexual abuse and stuff like that. Only they do it for more of people who are in same-sex relationships. So that's another organization that does it. They find shelters for people and help protect them from sexual and physical abuse.
Anything else anyone would like to share? Okay. Before we kind of finish up, be sure to all these papers are going out. Be sure to, take a look at them, write down what you need to, and get in contact with any of the rest of the board. So, with that being said, I will take a motion for adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.